Progress. Nature to man. Man to machine. The path to our future.
Oscorp, a new company with the name you trust.
The Amazing Spider-Man is more than just a game based off a movie of the same name. It marks the web-slinger's return to the Big Apple, the first Spider-Man game to feature an open-world version of New York City in years. This return to NYC should have been a heralded homecoming for Peter Parker, a true return to form for Spidey after a couple of average outings. Unfortunately, it's exactly what most true believers feared, a repetitive adventure that's saved from total mediocrity by a couple of interesting concepts. Amazing Spider-Man takes place in the same world as the new film, however, the game bucks the trend of following the exact events of the movie. Instead, it's set weeks afterwards, telling a continuation of the story you'll see in theaters. With some unintended help from Spider-Man, Oscorp has created an outbreak of a cross-species plague in New York.
What the what?
What did you do to it?
I didn't do anything.
Peter, I think it senses your blood. It knows.
Now Spidey's got to clean it up in order to save the city's inhabitants, including his girlfriend Gwen Stacy. Setting the game after the film is a unique plus, since we'd rather not repeat Spider-Man's origins all over again. But since the main problems of the film's plot have been solved, the game contains some pretty major spoilers, so watch the movie first.
Here we have it.
That's it?
Yes, this is it.
Even worse, though, you're stuck fighting a loser squad of villains. Seriously, we're fighting the Iguana and Vermin? These wannabes don't even carry enough star power to appear in comics more than once a decade, let alone in an annual Spider-Man game. The gameplay builds on the solid foundation of more than a decade of great Spider-Man games, but it doesn't add all that much. Spidey does, for the most part, whatever a spider can. He jumps and swings through the New York cityscape in newly cinematic ways that make the Spider-Man experience feel more freeing than ever. More noticeably, the combat, and especially the added stealth gameplay mechanics, borrow heavily from the recent Batman games, although by comparison, The Amazing Spider-Man is a pale Arkham imitation. Exploring the city is refreshing at first, with the new Web Rush mode making navigating the city simpler than ever. However, you soon learn that the city has very little going on.
I could sell these.
The handful of mission types consisting mostly of the race that thing or go beat up those guys variety repeat themselves to death by the game's end.
You'll have plenty of time to complain. In jail. Crap.
Sadly, repetition is about all this mundane Manhattan has to offer, and most of the campaign takes place in ultra-bland sewer tunnels and warehouses. Boss fights are equally flavorless, especially with the cliché giant robot battles clumsily shattering the reality and groundedness found in the film on which it's based. At this point in Spidey's annual cycle, it's hard to get Spider-Man wrong, and developer Beanox follows the formula well enough. Almost too well, because aside from the added Web Rush mode, they played it far too safe. Compared to the dozens of sandbox cities we've seen in recent games, Spider-Man's Manhattan is painfully sterile. The Amazing Spider-Man is yet another passable Spider-Man game,
You told me it would work.
albeit somewhat unworthy of its amazing title.
It's not a science project. People's lives are at stake.